Awesome. Well, as we've still got Sarge unloading his list, I suppose I'll start off by just reading off the rebel list. So, what it looks like Tyler Peterson here is running is we have a rebel list of elite alliance rangers, Han Solo with Rogue Smuggler. We have Harrison Dula, one single alliance smuggler. We have Makesh Garay, R2D2, Gideon Argus, C3PO, and Balance of the Force. So an 8 activation, nice card draw, but with Hera 8 activation Han Rangers list, which I'm very much looking forward to see how it does.
Isaac, have you found Han Rangers on the Endor map? I've never seen it or played it on this map, so I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So it is a long map, which is, not exact, which is nice for Han Rangers. The problem is, of course, this little red bar right in the middle of the doorways makes everything very, very difficult.
Right, that's what I was curious about. Like, you dominate the outside, but you're gonna get wrecked on the mission where you have to control the middle room.
I mean, it completely depends on your Han Rangers variant, to be honest. So if you have an 8 or 9 activation Han Rangers list, that means you have Han, which means that with 8 or 9 activations, you're likely to have last activation. And because Han, if Han double moves, so he's standing right behind that wall, he's a very, very happy camper because he's going to see all the way down. I'm not sure whether the map is up on stream yet. I think it is. But imagine if Han is either in the top deployment zone or the bottom, and then he double moves all the way to stand behind the horizontal red line going from top to bottom, or separating the two deployment zones. It's going to be very difficult for you to attack Han without standing right next to him, which means he'll get his return fire, but he's still going to trace line of sight all the way to your deployment zone. So that's a very nice spot for Han.
It absolutely is, but I guess it depends on who opens. Like, I feel like this is one of those maps where once one person opens the door, the other player doesn't really want to.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially with the renovation mission, which is what we got right here, where the objective is, of course, to pick up fuel cells and bring them back to the shield generator to score points instead of controlling the middle. So the middle is actually not that important in this mission. But Jake, do you want to read off the Imperial list for us?
The Imperial list looks pretty interesting here. It has Lion Ambush Gamorrean Guards, 2 sets of Riot Troopers, an Elite Imperial Officer, an ATDP, Zillow, Temporary Alliance, and Unshakable. I'm kind of curious what the Unshakable is for. So the ATDP might be running Ready Weapons, which is the one where they get to pull off a Jin shot at the beginning of an activation and exhaust and become weakened, so they could clear the weaken with that. Let's see. It can't use to the limit. So I'm kind of curious if they have any way to exploit Unshakable, if they're just really, really trying to avoid getting stunned with your ATDP. So I'm very curious to see what his command deck looks like.
Yeah, same here. Because, I mean, Unshakable would make perfect sense if you're running Heavy Fire, but I can't see that he is. So, yeah, no, we'll see. I think Unshakable could do a lot. Like you said, he might just be banking on, well, maybe I'm going up against a Chewie list or something like that, something that'll stun. And maybe he's very paranoid about set for stun, which, is understandable.
Especially in a place where each faction has a little 2-point dinky that are pretty common and can set for stun for almost no opportunity cost.
Exactly. So what do you think of this matchup right now? Because this is a very interesting matchup. There's a lot of melee versus the best range in the game, and by best I mean the longest range.
Right. I think this matchup is going to very much depend on whether he can close. So it'll really depend on if Han Rangers makes mistakes, which is not a good place to be starting at.
I mean, yes and no. It is pretty easy to make mistakes with Han Rangers, I would say.
And it looks like there is already a mess up with the deployment here because he's not going to be exploiting the fact that he can officer move with the ATDP and get a big boost. So Sarge, looks like he's changing up.
Reconsidering, hopefully. So I mean, he could still technically do it now, but it's definitely not as. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So leaving the officer there is an interesting life choice because he is just ripe for picking by the Rangers from there.
Right. I'm not. Yeah. So I guess it really depends on how Tyler responds here
Correct.
because
Uh,
I do like the Gamorrean lion ambush because that really
yes,
does force the Rangers to have to move.
indeed. Exactly. And as a Hard Rangers player forever, um, I can definitely tell you that the thing I fear the most is Lion Ambush. I would hate to go up against a Lion Ambush Gamorrean list because I can't move everyone out, especially not against a melee list. Um, and now Mac is suddenly really going to struggle here because I need to keep Mac alive and Tyler needs to keep Mac alive because that's his way to get points. Or, sorry, to get his spy cards out and get that value. But the Gamorreans are just gonna deep strike in and, I mean, most likely kill Mac. I don't think you would. Maybe you disagree here, Jake, but I don't think that you would use use them to attack the Rangers because the odds of you killing a Ranger, I don't know, red reroll times two. I
I
don't.
think I would. Me personally, I like to play risky play style, so I would try if the Rangers
Mm,
hadn't gone yet, and I have the Gamorreans to go, I would pick a focused Ranger and try to kill it.
yeah, no, that's a good point. So something interesting about Tyler's movement positioning here. I'm surprised that he hasn't moved one of his Rangers one space further to the right, just to offer him that chance to go 1-2 down into this corridor on the right here, just to pick out that officer. Because an elite officer is actually surprisingly scary. I mean, moving the HDP an extra 3, moving a riot trooper 4, or ordering an attack. All that is intimidating. Um, so I'm a little bit surprised that he hasn't done that. But then again,
Yeah.
he might be very correctly considering that if he does focus that ranger, then his officer could just do his thing and then move into the little corner that we have right underneath the deployment zone, and then suddenly he's got a range out of position. So, I can see some good and bad reasons for it, but
Yeah, it
usually
looks
the
like
more.
he's going for the smuggler will move 1, 2, 3, 4. No, he's gonna have to move smuggler with Gideon if he wants to.
Yeah,
If he wants to get that fuel cell on the first round.
yeah, exactly. So this is going to be very interesting. So, yeah, I mean, the Gamorreans just changed the math so much, so we'll see what everything brings. So it looks like we got R2 starting off here, moving up to draw a card by the terminal. Just never a bad idea. Which is honestly my favorite opening with Hunt Rangers. I mean, with any list, the earlier you can draw your cards, you know, the earlier you know exactly what it is you have to play with for the rest of the round.
Right.
That's the
And yeah, and he just needs to pad activations here, so
exactly
that's just a
because I've
great
seen some
place to start
players
with.
exactly because I've seen some players focus first. Oh, planning coming out of Gideon, very nice.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Just wants to get that taken care of ASAP.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting because obviously in my Hunt Rangers variant I would always do that because I don't have any other leader who would want to use planning, but he does have Hera, so maybe he doesn't think that he needs the Gideon push, possibly. Or maybe, and this is actually a variant I've seen quite a lot, is the Han Rangers New Orders thing. And maybe that's what he's got right now. Maybe he's saving Hera just to get new orders off on Han or on Rangers or something.
I mean, he does have the balance of the force, so he has the extra command points for it.
Exactly. If that's how he wants to build the list, he could. So, because personally, I have Balance of the Force in mind as well. But what I use the points for is just the spy cards. So I'm curious whether he's given up on some, hunter shenanigans in exchange for that. Yeah,
Right.
so Mac running away from the deployment zone, very wise when you've got a bunch of Gamora in, so we're going to deep strike in.
Right. And that's proof that he isn't holding on to a any big spy cards right now.
Exactly, which is massive.
So he has a round of impunity, or he's trying to draw out Tyler. If Tyler has a planning, he wants that planning out. Yeah, Tyler wants the Sarge's planning to come out. If it is there, say he wastes the planning, and then he can
Yeah,
strat shift him next round.
true. So interesting that positioning with Mac there. I'm wondering if he's trying to draw the ATDP out because between the officer and any, if he has any kind of movement card, then the ATDP would be able to run on over and shoot Mac. And I mean, if Sarge here kills Mac round 1, that's a devastating blow for Harm Rangers.
All right, looks like he's moving, ordering a move with the ATDP, pushing himself. Smart.
Very.
Yeah, he's not passing as much as he could, so he's probably just trying to threaten the ATDP there, so he can try to scare people into compliance with the plan here.
Exactly, and as you'll notice, there's a focused ranger on the far right on Tyler's side, which means that if he really wanted to, he could go 1, 2, 3, 4 and just snipe that officer to death.
Right.
And
trying to avoid that.
Yeah, exactly. The odds of that are pretty small, but at the same time, if he does, say if he has elemental heightened, and he can just kill that officer early game, that's 5 points. It's a whole activation. It's massive. So it's probably a good call there. Smuggler moving up, standing next to the fuel cell, which seems like a pretty safe bet now that the HDP has moved away from there. Yeah, so I'm curious on Tyler's decision to play planning with Gideon, because if he had instead moved with Gideon, or rather used the move action to push Smuggler pick that up?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Should we jump in and ask how Smuggler moved 5?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go pop in there and see what's up.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that is very surprising. So it'll be interesting to see what happens from here, from Sarge's side. Yeah, I'm very interested about that Mac placement because it's a very risky spot to stand. But if he's trying to draw it out, if he's got some nice movement cards that he could use with the Rangers just to snipe that guy down, could be very, very interesting. So not much movement. Yes. So it looks like their recon Jake went over and is just making them recount the spaces because that smuggler did move 5 spaces if it were to pick up that crate. Double moving is fine, but it's not going to have the action to pick up the crate as well, which is costly. So the thing that I'm very curious about as well in the Han Rangers list is whether... Oh, we got that.
So it sounds like there's a confusion about how to pick up the fuel cells. They thought they could use movement points. So Jake's helping them out.
Right. Okay. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. So now it looks like they are using an action, and with the use of fleet-footed to give them an extra movement point, that does work. So, very nice. So, Chris, how about you? What are your thoughts on the 2 matchups and how they compare up against each other? Not Chris, no, sorry. Brilliant.
All right, we got to figure it out.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw him playing the fleet-footed.
Correct. Yeah. Which then actually does make the rounds. His choices with Gideon now suddenly makes more sense.
Yes.
Oh, the ATDP activating. Very interesting. Okay, so it's moving up.
Looks like he's trying to engage the Rangers on their own feet, on their own turf here out in the grassy.
Hmm.
He's double moving the ATDP.
Wow. I mean, that's huge.
Bold move.
Yeah. Although I suppose it's something that is very interesting here. Oh, he might be reconsidering. So
Yeah.
the thing I find interesting is because he's got so many Guardians in his list, I'm wondering whether he's running any Guardian cards such as Bodyguard. And I'm wondering whether the idea is to put those Rise just surrounding that ATDP and just never let the Rebels get an attack directly on the DP.
Looks like he's reconsidering all of his life choices here.
Yes. Which, I mean, it makes sense because moving the DP out is very, very risky because he hasn't gone with Han, he hasn't gone with the Rangers.
Right.
There's not really any reason to go with the DP until your opponent only has one activation left.
Yep. And so he's moving with the Reds instead. It looks like he's not choosing to open the door, which is where he would be best suited to, but
I mean, the Blues could still open the door.
true.
Blue number 2 could go 1, 2, 3, 4 pretty easily. Which honestly I do think would be pretty well in his good interest. Because if you picture it like this, the Gamorreans coming in from the bottom is going to force Tyler's Hana Rangers to move somewhere. Whether that's going to the left or to the right will be determined. The DP can then go into that central room.
And have a really good line of sight on whichever way his Rangers break.
Exactly. So I definitely think that Sarge would very much be helped by that. If he doesn't, I think he will actually struggle a lot more, just because that little spot in the middle, is very strong. But no, honestly, this is a very interesting matchup because Han Rangers, obviously, I've run it for ages, but apart from myself, I haven't seen anyone else run it for years. And the DP, I haven't seen that hunkering piece of junk either.
Hey guys, Noah here. Just wanted to remind everybody that we've got a lot of new players in this event, and these Tyler and Sarge are both pretty new to the game, so.
Oh, brilliant!
So they've been really generous to let us stream their game, and I think they're doing well and they're having fun here. So just a reminder, we've got a lot of new people. We got some pros in this tournament too, but these guys are pretty new. So
yeah, marvelous. I mean, for what I've seen so far, they seem to be making very many good choices. So seems to be going good. So, Jake, what are your thoughts on the DP in regards to countering Rangers and Han? Because obviously it's got the huge 15 health, but once you take it down to 9 damage, then it suffers a lot, Reduces
Right.
its output and the rerolls.
I think a DP versus Rangers matchup is going to be difficult. So that's just luck of the draw on opponents here. But I think your best, a DP player's best chance against Rangers is to try to post the DP in a place where is to use the, because it can't be blocked by figures, that's like can't be blocked by figures, but can be blocked by terrain. I think its best bet would be to try to use these walls in the central area to block the Rangers line of sight long enough to get into a place to assault.
Exactly. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. Looking at this matchup, I would be very, very scared if the ATDP were to go into middle just because it's so difficult for me. Because not only is it good because of the line of sight blocking, but it's also so powerful because it makes it so difficult for the Rangers to get their rerolls off. And Rangers without rerolls are the stormtroopers.
Useless. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Blue Riots seem to be advancing out of the deployment zone, moving all the way into the central room, over to the fuel cells, which makes sense. I mean, the sooner you can get those fuel cells and then run off with them, the better. The better your life is going to go.
Right. All right, looks like the Blues here.
Indeed.
Yeah, Sarge has one more pass if he wants it. So let's. So I'm curious. Actually, it looks like he has two more passes. Yeah, he's got two more passes here. So I'm curious to see how he uses them.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you think the Han Rangers, a good Han Rangers play here would be to have Hera open the door and then just send Han and Rangers in to shoot the Blues?
No. I wouldn't really say so. Probably what I would be looking for the most from this position would be
Noah, can you mute yourself on table 23 here? We can hear you when you're talking to the guys.
all right. But yeah, so what I was saying is that I think that opening the door right now would be very, very risky. You are running right into right and melee danger territory. So what I would probably want to do is, especially with the Gamorreans coming in, Gamorreans are infamously slow. So probably what I would very much like to do in this position is go with the Rangers and Han, or we'll go with the Rangers first, of course. Double move them towards the left side, so running over towards Mac, which is going to be beneficial in several ways. If he can add range and just cycle around Sarge's list, that is going to be very, very good for him, as he can very easily then just, stay back and shoot the riots on approach, and as soon as the DP shows its face, just shoot it down. If he runs into the middle, then yes, he's going to get some shots off this round, but, that DP is going to be in his face, and he's going to be pincered between an 80 DP and Gamorreans. And Han Rangers is a glass cannon list. You want to take the shots. You want to take the shots without suffering any damage in return, because Han Rangers goes down a lot quicker than other lists usually do. It will take a lot more firepower to take down Sarge's list, for example, than it will to take down Tyler's.
Right. Yeah, so let's I'm very curious to see how this whole match plays out. Looks like we're breaking with Miss Hera here, and he's going to the left here, like you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, if it is any, if this is anything to draw from, you always want to keep Hera with your Rangers and Han. So I would now expect him to move the Rangers and Han along with Hera, and if he's doing that, I think he's in an amazing position. That's a great move in that case. Especially as it gives him access to yet another terminal as well, as the rounds will go on. And, hunters love that card draw.
Right.
Rangers moving up, which is very good.
Yeah, looks like he's trying to just post up at the top of the cliff, which is probably his best place to be.
Exactly. I mean, especially considering the fact that the riots are going to want to pick up the fuel cells and deliver them to the shield. One thing I do find really interesting about the situation right here, however, is that if if Sarge manages to pick up enough crates or fuel cells, he doesn't have to deliver them to get points. He could just hide in this central room where it's impossible for the Rangers to shoot him and just get 2 points for every riot around. And that is actually really scary.
Right, yeah, because then it would force Han Rangers to have to come up and engage with him because they're not going to win the points battle.
Yeah, and the second you're forcing Han Rangers to do anything, you are in a bad. Or as soon as Han Rangers is forced to move up, Han Rangers is in a very bad position. But honestly, so far, I'm very much liking the play seen from these two. Both Tyler and Sarge seem to have a good grasp of what it is that their lists do. I mean, that body blocking on the Rangers is gorgeous. It makes me so happy to see.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious what he's going to do with the Gamorreans then. Is he just going to run up and try to kill the droids then?
He might drop them in his own zone. I'm not sure how that would really benefit him. I mean, the thing is, right now, I wouldn't expect a Gamorrean to be able to kill Gideon. But if he can use both Gamorreans to kill Gideon, or maybe use one to do some damage on Gideon and the other one, because killing the smuggler right now is of utmost importance. So you can get up by 2 points and then also stop Tyler from stop Tyler from getting extra points. Then suddenly Sarge can now play the slow game and hide around the corners and just keep on getting the points for the fuel cell.
Right. Yeah, because in this position, Mac will probably pull the fuel cell if he doesn't pull any. Mac grabs the fuel cell, then Tyler has one fuel cell to many fuel cells on the Ranger side or on the Riot side.
Precisely.
So that Red Riot up top doesn't have long to live in this situation, I don't think.
Yeah, no, exactly. That bridge is very restrictive in that way. Okay, is Han moving out? So it looks like the DP only shuffled around a bit. Interesting that it didn't move into the middle or shoot the smuggler. Although the line of sight of the smuggler is very difficult. It is possible to get.
Oh, I think he'd have a pretty easy line of sight if he'd move 3 spaces down into the central area. I think he'd have line of sight from somewhere. Let me just confirm that here.
Yeah, because the thing is, from the bottom right corner on the smuggler, if you go up 3 spaces, yeah, that's the one. Up 3 across 2, up 3 across 2. And the reason I say difficult is because, obviously, as Chris said, these are newer players, and line of sight is something very tricky to keep a track of. But,
right, looks like Han is shooting the Riot.
Always a good choice.
But yeah, the top red Riot, which range 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 range. So he's got 6 range. He does not surge for +3, so it looks like this is a missed shot.
Well, he does have Hera within 3, so if he wants to use Hera's +2 accuracy, that will be enough. And the damage here looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage, so it's not quite going to kill it. But then again, a focus on one-shotting a Ranger, a Riot with power token with Zillow is very unlikely. So 6 damage is pretty nice when you think about it.
Yeah, because then he's just he's an unfocused Ranger shot away from death then, which is...
I mean, he is pretty far away. Rangers are great at range, but obviously sometimes it can become difficult. I'm just hoping.
I mean, his top Ranger there could just move up, claim the terminal, and shoot the guy, because he will be starting with initiative.
True. That's very true. Okay, good. So it looks like he did use Hera. And yeah, 6 damage should be taken. So, what are your thoughts on this end of round positioning after round 1, Jake?
I think it'll be interesting to see what the results of the Han end of round shot is, because if he can finish off that Riot, then I think that puts Sarge on a very bad footing going into the first round here.
Yeah,
because he's already down a figure versus to no threat of even losing a figure at the first stage.
Exactly. Ah, nice.
But I think if Sarge I think Sarge just hopes that he doesn't lose either the blues, because he has a really good shot at just claiming fuel cells and getting behind the wall where the Rangers will not be able to get him.
Exactly. Which I think is Sarge's best play at this point. It will be very dangerous for him to run all of his Rangers up, or to just run his guys into Tyler's face.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm very curious how this end of round plays out. Looks like they're drawing their cards now.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Yeah, I mean, on Rangers doing on Ranger things, they definitely got their card draw in order. Between R2 and planning round 1, it's a very nice. It's a very nice
Yeah,
start.
he's already more than halfway through his deck, which is pretty crazy, especially in a hunter's list.
Yeah, it's very nice, especially in a hunter's smuggler spy list. I mean, that's exactly what you want.
With Balance of the Force, like he's got command card power for days now.
Oh,
so,
which contrasts very heavily with what Sarge does, because brawler cards are nice, guardian cards are acceptable. There are some interesting vehicle cards, but nothing that comes close to the power of spies, hunters, and smugglers, and troopers. Oh my god! I mean, we got troopers as well.
Yeah, this is a strong traits, like, so it's a very strong traits list versus a very strong objective list.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I mean, this exact list is definitely one of my favorites. I believe this is the exact list that Tyler is playing that I took to Worlds last year. 8 activation with R2.
Oh, the one that he took to the Spectre Bowl?
Yeah, the Spectre Bowl. Because I was never going to sell myself to Spectre. I'm just going to keep on going with Armor Rangers. And that was good fun.
Oh, I should have played Amigos.
Yes, you should have.
Let's see. So that's a 7 range. So 9 range once the surge comes in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, we have range.
Him.
Yeah, so
got
that
him.
gets him.
Well done, Han.
Boo,
Yeah.
Han. Get out of here.
No, it's well done. That's an amazing shot.
Oh yeah, that's a really good shot for him. I just I'm biased against Han Rangers because of my melee proclivities.
Oh no, but you see, I'm biased in favor of Han Rangers because they're the best list that was ever invented. Says the guy who created 3 Amigos. Come on, and took Spectre to Worlds.
I did not bring Spectre to Worlds, sir. I should have brought Amigos, but instead I brought a hunter's list.
Oh my. So, oh my. Yep. I mean, definitely stick true to your guns, because I mean, I played against you in Worlds 27. No. Yes. No. Worlds 20. No. 2018. Worlds 2018. Round 1 of Swiss. Isaac Borno versus Jake Peterson. Han Rangers versus Amigos.
On the freaking swamps too. I should have lost that match, but I got a couple lucky dodges.
It was not on swamps. It was on Moss Isley back alleys. And by a few lucky dodges, you dodged every single attack going into Han.
Right.
Sorry,
yeah. Sorry. I was getting you mixed up with the bazillion other Han Rangers that were there, because I also ended up playing against I played against Ben's Han Rangers on swamps and lost.
Right. Yeah, I did actually go up against Han Rangers once during that tournament as well. I went up against Lucas Davidson's Han Rangers on swamps with the control mission, and that was a fun game.
Yeah. It really depends on the results of this Call of the Vanguard that just got played.
Ooh.
Because now he's going to be able to move up and he's going to try to ace this blue riot. If he can pull off that ace on a blue riot, then I think it's over for Sarge.
I'm not sure. It's definitely very good for Tyler. It's not over, I wouldn't say, because in the long run, Sarge is going to pull ahead just with all the fuel cells, I think. We'll see. I mean, the Gamorreans are also going to matter a lot depending on what Gideon does, because Gideon right now is right in the hot zone. Oh, that is a very disappointing roll for the Ranger.
But he does get a double reroll, so that the bad blue and the bad green are going down. Getting rerolled.
But it's still not what you want to see. But a bad roll for Sarge as well. Definitely doesn't want to see this single side.
Right, I mean, that's to be expected off of black die, so.
Yeah.
Looks like the reroll came through for him. So we're looking at 5 damage, Pierce 1 versus 2 blocks.
It's looking at 4
So
damage.
it's not an ace unless we see an assassinate come out.
Yeah, and
Or,
even with assassinate, that would take it to 7 damage. We could just tap Zillow to keep the stay alive. So I would probably not use assassinate here, to be honest.
Yeah.
Now, one thing which I'm very curious about is whether Tyler is running New Orders. Because I've seen New Order Han Rangers being played from time to time, and it is just devastating.
Oh, absolutely.
Seeing those Rangers go twice, just even as a Ranger lover, it just tears my heart apart seeing those guys activate twice in the same round.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I know that, I know I've only gone up against New Orders Han Rangers once, and I was able to use my own R to keep Myrn away from the Rangers, thankfully.
Oh,
And it didn't get,
nice.
yeah. I miss my buddy Onar. I need to get him out again sometime soon.
I do not miss Ona. My God. I mean, he's not a bad guy, but not my favorite opponent.
Yeah, so we have 3 damage coming through. Did we get a Zillow tap off that? We did.
Yes, we did.
So now he's going first. So yeah, there's no take initiative. So now we get a full Rangers activation before anything happens. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, tapping Zillow there was interesting because obviously the Rangers do have the search for Pierce for another Pierce. So I probably would have saved the Zillow, but at the same time, it's not a bad idea.
Right, especially now that it's only going to be a couple double blues. So hopefully that's more of a pop gun than a cannon going on here.
Yeah, I mean Pierce will not be a concern here. Ooh, okay, nice evade, very nice evade.
Yep. So 3 coming through. So he's gonna have to waste. He's wasting a total of 3 shots of the 4 on that he gets. Yeah, he's wasting 3 shots. Oh, he got a reroll coming in for 4 damage. And he can't save now.
Oh God, gee, yeah, exactly. Because if he does throw a card with,
no, he can't because the Pierce auto Pierce.
Exactly. Oh, that is massive.
Oof.
And the thing which is so big about this as well is that now Tyler has killed 1 Ranger each from different groups. Sorry, 1 Riot each from different groups.
Yes.
Which, it doesn't bring his activation count down, but it really limits what he can do in 1 combo.
Is the hide a may or a must?
It's a must. It's a may. It's a may. So if he forgets,
so I'm not going to go in there and remind them.
No. That is up to the players. I honestly feel horrible that I need to double check this, but actually will double check. I should know whether it's a way or a must, but just I've played them so long. It's a must for me.
Right. I know whenever I play Rangers, I forget every time. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Telltale Animal Rivals. Okay, so the Elite Alliance Ranger Guerrilla, after you resolve an attack, if the defender was defeated, become hidden. There's no may. It's a have to.
Wrong button.
No choice here.
All right, I hit a wrong button and I'm bringing up my Star Wars RPG character creator. So let's.
Different game, buddy. Different game. Oh, okay. I love that. I love that move with the Rangers. Just flanking around. It's going to be pretty difficult to get line of sight onto the Rangers from there. But,
absolutely.
now it's threatening that DP.
Yeah, that DP is going to have to move out to get any good shots for sure now.
Yeah. I mean, what I worry about for Tyler most, because Tyler now has the advantage. He's 8 points up, and he's killed 2 figures. And he should have a Ranger hidden. So I did check. It's not may, it's must. Yeah, the whole DP. Because obviously, if the DP now moves right behind that vertical wall, the Rangers aren't going to be able to get to it. And then I could see the favor slinging back into Sarge's hands. Very interesting.
Okay, let's. Do you think? Do you think Sarge passes here, or what do you think? What do you think his best move is?
Nothing of too much value is in inherent risk now. I would definitely pass at this point. I don't see much reason to. Oh, okay.
He's
Where is he going?
Is he going
for
for the Mac or is he going for the Han?
I really hope he's going for the Mac. If
I
he
hope
kills
so
Mac,
too.
that's huge.
Yeah, Mac only has 4 health if I remember right.
Correct.
Oh yeah, he does. Yep.
Yeah, reconsidering, which makes sense. You know, it is a suicide run. But at
Absolutely.
the same time, I mean, at this point, you're probably not willing to trade Mac for another one of those guys. But at the same time, the more you just keep them preoccupied, because if so, what's exactly with Lion Ambush? It's when you have 3 or more defeated or exhausted.
Right. So what I'm thinking his best move here would be is to grab the fuel cell and get to cover.
With the red guy?
With the blue guy.
The blue guy. Oh, right. Yeah, he isn't holding a fuel cell. I forgot. Yeah, which it
That's
looks
what
like
he
he is
did.
doing. Yeah, which makes sense. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's his best position because he that way 3PO can't go open the door and then open him up to Han.
Precisely. Especially now considering the fact that if the DP were to move into the middle here, then the rides can be pushed to the right, still further away from the Rangers, whilst the DP still gets his vertical wall tied behind. Which, you know, if he had left the right behind that wall, that would have made his life a lot more difficult just because of that reason. But yeah, I mean, moving the right there, I think, is the best option you have right now. So I think that's a good choice. We'll see what the other guy does. The red one.
So Derek in the chat brought up reinforcements is a thing.
True.
And then
that's a good point that I forgot about.
We've also got reinforcements coming in with the Gamorrean. So I wonder if Tyler might be suddenly swamped in figures this next round.
That's a
that
good
is very
point.
interesting. Reinforcement. Yeah, because now that I think about it, because I was thinking about reinforcements, but I thought you probably wouldn't fit it in this list. But then when I think about it, you don't really have anything expensive that you want to put into this list, apart from, you know, the usual Grenadier and stuff like that. Maybe Crush, but I don't think so.
Crush, yeah. It looks like he's trying to get as many shots out of the ATDP as possible, so he doesn't want the ATDP getting too close. So yeah, reinforcements, 2 of them, Grenadier, 7 points, which leaves them 8 points for all sorts of fun stuff. I think size advantage might be a pretty good shot here,
yes.
which would put him to
you're
9.
definitely going to want size advantage. Also, escalating hostility, because you got that strain generation.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yeah,
especially if you can pull off a good shot against. If you can pull off any good shots against with the riots against this list, he's already drawn half his deck. So if he can mill more, he's in business.
100%.
Gideon is on the move, doing what? He is in a position where Gideon can open the door. No, he's moving Han. Han is now in a dangerous position where he can just get lit up by that DP.
Yes. The thing, however, is that there is no way for the DP to get a double tap off on Han.
Unless he gets moved by the officer.
Yes, but then Han will have a chance to react. Although I am actually wrong now that I think about it. If the DP, or if Tyler has any movement cards, he can spend 1 movement point to move down 1 space, to rotate and move down, and then he would have line of sight on Han. What this positioning tells me is that it's very likely that he has Lamb at this point. You probably wouldn't run Han forwards unless you have Lamb.
Good point.
Moving Gideon next to 3PO, amazing choice. I mean, no complaints there. With the Gamorreans coming out, you do not want Gideon to just down his own. To be fair, you know, the only surge the Gamorreans have is the cleave, which isn't huge. But at the same time, with 4 red die, with a reroll, if Sarge gets lucky, he gets 2 surges and then manages to cleave to kill 3PO as well, then Tyler's in a very bad position if he loses all of his focus going. So the extra evade there on Gideon is very nice.
Correct. We'll see. Yeah, so yeah. Looks like Sarge is activating. He has not tapped a card yet, so we don't know if he's moving forward with the ATDP or if he's using the officer for it.
Correct. What would you have done in this situation? Would you have moved with the DP, or
I would have used the officer to move the DP down into the central room, and then on the DP's move, position it behind the wall so I can't be shot by the Rangers easily, and then still has shots on Han, who would then have no return fire.
Yeah.
Looks like he's moving forward with the DP, and
Yes.
Han pulls a good defense roll, unless he's attacking Mac, in which case he's still in business.
I mean, he could be attacking Mac. I mean, Mac would be definitely what I would recommend here. You know,
Yeah,
going for
charge
Han.
generators are still active, so he has a +1 and a reroll. Let's see if he
Exactly.
remembers.
Let's hope he does, because he just needs to re-roll the blue and get anything but that side of the die, and he's got Mac. Because obviously the +1, and then you know, there's only one side of the blue with only a surge symbol. So re-rolling blue, huge priority here. With +1.
All right, I'm asking for clarification, see who DP is attacking here.
Yep. Very nice.
Attacking Han, okay.
Okay.
So
that's an extra block then for Han. Okay, good reroll.
there's the reroll.
Okay, so that's why they don't have the block and the damage, because they cancel each other out. The +1 damage and the +1 block from the evade.
Makes sense.
It's just, yeah.
So it looks like 3 damage getting through to Han, which is not enough. We'll see.
No. And the return fire, I'm getting the nasty feeling he's going to do a little bit more than 3 damage. He's in range of Hera. He's got a bunch of other nasty stuff. I mean, what Han wants to do right now is he wants to return fire, activate, shoot the DP, and then he probably just wants to move right to the right, behind the wall of the Ranger right there, because that would give him line of sight on the DP, whilst making it impossible for the DP to attack again. So yeah, return fire coming in now. Not a bad roll, not the best.
Reroll that green surge,
Yeah.
or reroll the blue. Okay. Yeah,
Definitely
it's a horse apiece there. So
yeah. So same thing. But now Hera can add an extra surge, which definitely would be a good idea, because Han is likely to activate next. That's probably what I would do. Activate next, go hide behind the wall, but next to the shield generator, so that the DP can't be ordered to attack him again from the officer, but he still gets to attack again. So what worries me a lot about the position of the DP right now is that it is ripe for picking by the Rangers.
true, but on the other hand, is that the Ranger he has initiative going in. So if he has negation, or Tyler doesn't pull his take initiative, then he has a good position to open with the DP and get some damage in.
Sure, but I mean, at this point, with the rate of damage that Han is doing,
scary amount of damage, yes.
Yeah.
1,
okay, so
2,
3PO
3,
going
4.
up, which is interesting because that means that the DP can now attack again with the officer. He can attack Han. I mean, I guess it's interesting because maybe he's happy for the DP to attack Han if it means that Max stays alive longer. Which, you know, it is definitely a valid strategy.
Let's see where. There it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure if... Yeah, no, that doesn't quite work with the right. Just because it needs to move around... Yeah, there we go. It needs to move around the impossible terrain to get to the field cell. So what do you think? What do you think of the? So I mean, we're getting close to the end of round 2 now. The actions performed here. Who would you say has the upper hand at this point?
Moving into end of round, I think it really we can't know until we see what the results of these Gamorrean attacks are.
True.
Because if the Gamorreans could 1, 2, 3, 4. They can threaten 3PO, R2, and Gideon, as well as this smuggler. So I think their best bet is to throw one at the smuggler and see if they can kill it, and throw the other at Gideon and contest the terminal.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that, especially since he does have initiative next.
Looks like the riot's retreating without grabbing the fuel cell.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, there wouldn't be much disadvantage to just moving out and grabbing the fuel cell, because if Han turns his attention on that riot, stop the fuel cell, Sarge would be fine with that, because that means that's a focused Han shot, not going into the DP, which is huge.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of it goes on what exactly these Gamorreans do. So I'm not going to make any predictions here.
Yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense, to be honest. We will see. What does interest me as well is that Sarge. Oh, okay. Well, we got Han rushing in. Oh, wow. Looks like he's trying to get rid of that fuel cell carrying. Right.
Which makes sense, because he's not, like, if he's holding on to a lamb, it doesn't matter. He can just move right back to where 3PO is.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, but we'll see how this goes. So it doesn't look like tools or anything. But obviously with the regular attack and with the end of round attack. Although the officer can now pretty. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to complain about that roll. You'll probably re-roll one with greens, because it's impossible to get anything worse than that.
Right.
On greens. The 50% chance to get better. Yeah, good move. Didn't quite pay off, but it was still the right one to make. So 5 damage going through, which is significant and very nice as well. Especially, just like Derek pointed out, is that there is obviously the chance of reinforcement. If he can now just, and maybe that is why he moved the red guy back, just to make sure he got his reinforcements out. I still wouldn't really say that that's worth it, because the fuel cell is the fuel cell. Yeah, so 5 damage going on. So what do you think the officer does now? Do you make the DP attack Mac and then move and body block for the right?
For the blue. That's not a bad idea. I think, honestly, the ATDP might be well served to try to just, I guess it's 4, so it's range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so it's a little bit out of minimum range, but he does have the reroll, so I think he could try for Mac pretty easily here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And at this point, you do not want to lose that 2 points with the riot.
Right, and the Gamorreans can't hit Mac unless they have movement cards. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Some pretty crazy movement cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, not actually too crazy. If he has any movement card, be it from urgency or anything. Very interesting. No problem, Amelia. Glad to see everyone here. 17 people watching. It's very good to see. Yeah, and which is just it. I don't want to say it amazes me, because that would imply that I'm surprised, but it just makes me so happy to see the community thriving. We've got a solid player base. Great.
Absolutely. So now we just see what he does with. So now the Gamorreans are getting activated. So let's see where they go and what they do.
Okay, so here's an interesting proposition, actually. I probably wouldn't, but would you put the Gamorreans in your own deployment zone at this point and then just run them towards Han?
I mean, they could just hit Han with at least one shot there, and then body block the blue. But I think contesting the terminal and they're deploying into the bottom here, and they're not going for the smuggler. It looks like they're going to try to bum rush Mr. Gideon.
Interesting. I mean, there are valid reasons for both, and Gideon is obviously horrendous. So let's see who he's going for here. He's going for someone that's very good roll. Very good.
Whew, that is a nasty 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh,
looks like he's hitting Gideon.
Yeah,
hitting Gideon.
It's not
Is that a one shot on Gideon?
That is a one-shot Gideon. Oh my
Ooh,
god,
baby!
Yeah, it's things like that which just makes you cry as a humming. That's so.
I mean, yeah,
Gideon
this
goes
is
down. Those Gamorreans doing some work.
Yeah, that's a big hit right there.
Huge.
This is really what he needed to this is why I wasn't saying anything until after these Gamorreans went, because he can't really account for stuff like this.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, at the same time, this is what Gamorreans do. They don't always max roll, but at the same time, if you are not accounting for the Gamorreans doing their work, which who would, because they're Gamorreans, you don't expect them to do anything. But a lot of people are surprised with how hard they hit. Yeah, it's an interesting point, Derek. To go for 3PO, I do think that Gideon was the correct option.
I mean, he can still go for 3PO. It looks like that's what he's doing.
Yeah,
he's not trying to contest the terminal at all either. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, 3PO is just so valuable because he would happily give Han just an extra card. Oh, is he double?
It looks like he's double moving, or I'm not seeing any cards being played.
That's very interesting. Also, great to see you on here, Heather. It's great to see a first timer watching the competition. It's great. Welcome. All right, so Gamorrean running up. Looks like no cards are being played.
Well, hello, Heather, in the chat. Yeah, welcome. It's not often that these things get live streamed, because in the actual live competitions, FFG is usually streaming the X-Wing instead of the Imperial Assault. So this is a rare opportunity. Glad you're here to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll have many more like this. Oh, strat shift coming out.
Woo! All right, that's not good for Tyler or for Sarge. He hasn't played a single command card yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I might have an idea what's going on here. You know how many brawlers he has? Parting blow? Yeah.
Yep. That makes sense that he'd be going for that.
Exactly. Because, I mean, that suddenly makes sense because obviously going for 3PO would be an amazing choice. But at the same time, if he can just wait and put an attack on Mac, because Tyler might not suspect parting blow and run away with them. And if he does and he pulls parting blow, that is horrible.
That's a big hit. Either way, I'm kind of curious to see if we've got the Wombo combo going on here. Do you think see if he's got a intel leak as well?
I mean, that would definitely be good. Okay, shooting the Gamorrean, very wise choice. Gamorrean does have an extra block because it's defending against a ranged attack, which he does, remember, which is good. That's not what you want to see. 2 damage going through, which is solid for Mac.
Yeah, not bad at all. I think he was going for that headshot there, though, or trying to hope. Well, actually, no, the headshot doesn't activate unless he kills it. So
yeah, correct. And yeah, the strat shift was huge because he probably just got rid of parting blow.
At least one.
Yeah. The odds of him having a parting blow in hand is now very low. Like very, very low. Which would make it safe for Mac to move away. But at the same time, do you really need to move him away? I would probably say yes. Because you would rather take the risk of parting blow than the guarantee of the HDP shooting in the face.
Right. It really depends on where he decides to go with this ATDP. What
I
he
mean,
decides.
the DP's been activated, so it's just the officer that can
Right.
make it do something.
Yeah. When I said go, I meant shoot, but
Right, yeah, fair. Yeah, exactly. The DP doesn't have many shot options. Okay, but now we're going to see what's finally happened. So the officer's going. We'll see. So many decisions. This is a really interesting game. Those Gamorreans just changed the math so much. Like, it's not even funny how much that changed things. Those guys are beefy. So beefy. Okay, so it didn't move away with Mac, which is an interesting choice. Obviously, you're measuring up the risk of the DP shot versus the parting blow. All right, so it's probably looks like the DP is attacking either Mac or 3PO. I would assume it's Mac, just because Mac is a pain in the rear. But at the same time, Strike Shift has now been played, so you've now lost 50%. Well, it depends on how many spy cards he has in his deck, but he's already gotten some value out. I mean, it doesn't matter who he's shooting. he definitely killed them. Both 3PO and Makash Gray have the same number of health.
right. But 3PO does not have a reroll. So, yeah, it looks like that's a dead either one. Actually, no, it's not because there wasn't enough accuracy rolled. Looks like that's a dead Mac. No, that's a dead 3PO.
Which makes sense, because Mac has gotten his value out, whereas 3PO, he's going to keep on focusing. And
Right.
3PO giving an extra block and evade to Han late game is huge. So now we'll just see what the officer does for his second action. I'm very much hoping that it goes on body blocks for the blue right, but then again, it just depends on how he wants to play it, because he might be willing to sacrifice that right in exchange for the officer, if he considers the officer to be that important for the ATDP's playstyle, which, to be fair, it very much could.
Right. Looks like on kill points, they're close to even, but I think the caliber of kills are not.
No. Absolutely. Although, I would actually say they are, just because, yeah, 2 riots are big, but 2 riots come back. And also, he's killed all the focus that could be handed out to Han Rangers. And Han Rangers without focus, Han Rangers without focus is like Han Rangers without rerolls. They're Stormtroopers. Not that good.
Right.
So just purely by what kills were taken, I would say that Sarge has had the better trade-off at this point. Do we have a time on the round, by the way?
I will pop in and ask Noah what's up on that.
Thank you.
Be right back.
Beautiful. I'll just have to entertain everyone solo until he returns. I'm very sorry to all of you. You have to now hear me alone. Yeah, I'm very interested in this matchup. So how about you, everyone who's watching this game, who would you give the advantage to at this point?
So they're going to start round 3 here, and then that'll be the end of it. So they have 1 round remaining. So if that affects the odds, people in the chat.
Yeah, I'd say it does. So the smuggler looks like it's taking a shot. Oh no, that's Hera. So Hera shooting the Gamorrean in the face makes sense. You got the search for PS2, it's looking like 1 damage. Not what you
Depending on if he decides. I think the Pierce 2. I don't think he uses Pierce 2 here because he can just tap Zillow.
No, Zillow was used start a round. On the parting blow. Oh, he had it. My God, he had it. But no, because he tapped Zillow start a round, because the next round hasn't started quite yet. It's still the end of round 2, and Zillow was tapped for.
True. Yeah. Let's see if they. Oh, that's a. Oh, he does have a reroll. So let's see what happens here.
Yes. Oh, that's big. So 3 damage and 2 on Mac. Which, if he has Grizzly Contest, that is dead Mac just by playing the card. So
And I don't see any reason why he wouldn't have Grizzly Contest here.
Yeah, exactly. If he has Grizzly in his hand right now, that would be just insane turn of events.
Yeah, especially after that strat shift.
Yeah, I mean, I once had a game where my opponent strat shifted me and I drew Assassinate and Lamb. I felt so bad, but I was so happy. It's just, your opponent does everything they can, and still it's just not enough. But okay, the Gamorrean moving away. The Gamorrean has the weakened condition. Supposed to be stunned. We'll
It is
just
supposed to
hope
be stunned.
Yeah. Hoping they, it doesn't change Sarge thinking that he has weaken or anything.
Yeah, I think Noah will let him know to get that shifted, because Noah's listening to us and to them at the same time. I don't know how he does it. Like, that must be a cacophony.
Yeah, although he might be listening to the stream. He might be listening to the stream and then being in their chat room. Oh no, wait, he's in our chat room. This is weird. Okay, he's got 2 Discord accounts. That's what. Noah has 2 Discord accounts, TV Boy and IA Command, and they're in both the rooms.
Yeah, it looks like Mr. Smuggler is trying to avoid the Gamorreans by running into riot territory.
Exactly. All right, well, round 3 starting, and very low points given out at this rate. But,
All right, so each side goes up 2.
Exactly. Smuggler's got his stuff. Did the Smuggler move into the middle room? Yes, it did. Double moved into the middle room. So let me count the space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we could drop it off for the shield generator. Which is an interesting move. What do you think? What do you think about that, moving the Smuggler up? I don't think it's a bad idea.
No, I don't think so either, because now it's not going to get too... Well, actually, it is within Gamorrean range of the unstunned guy.
Yeah. No, that's pretty big.
That's a dead riot.
Oh, yeah, that is such a dead right. That roll coming out on Han. So fun. So fun.
No, and let me check on time here. They have 30 seconds left to try to resolve this round. So we'll see.
Which they have basically now, unless there's any other end of round effects. Because Han taking the last one is the end of round effect.
Yes.
So as long as they just pass the initiative token within the next 20 seconds. But even though, I mean, we're really just joking around here. I mean, it's clear they're getting another round in, I don't think anyone is going to say, no, stop, you moved the initiative token 1 second too late. No, we're not Magic, we're not 40k.
Yep, that is time in the round.
All right.
So we'll see if they're pulling in. I'll message Mr. Noah and see if there's another one on the way.
Yeah. They call it. I see.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So Han Rangers walking out with the victory.
Yeah, and I think that Han Ranger had an advantage going in, so I think they both played about it, like they both played decent games, so so good job to both of you guys if you ever come back to look at this.
100%. I mean, that was picture perfect play, especially on the Han Ranger side and on the DP side as well. The DP is a difficult figure to use, and that was very, very well done with him. You got some nice attacks off, they got some kills, but ultimately the Rangers outranged. Do what they do. Brilliant.
All right. Not a single judge call that entire round. Interesting. Nice. All right.